Last week, we saw some demo from Jean-Philippe. What was it? He showed us.
I'm going to say calendars.
Is Vue.js. He didn't show that. The train. Train improvements and filtering improvements. Maybe today. Demos. Who's got demos?
I will have a demo.
Those topics, see, people keep asking for 1.0, so I will put 1.0. I don't blame them. I think that's missing for 1.0 still. 1 or 2 bugs, I assume, the same ones. Updates on Orchard 1. What was merged? Nothing since last time. We updated some PRs Thursday. Then, well, I assume from this one, that should be good. 8, 9, that's good. Okay, so this updated to net 3.1.16 and 5.07 patches. Okay, Cypress 7.5, X buttons with same IDs. Okay, ID conflicts. Maintain checkbox value input state and redisplaying a form after validation errors. Okay. Then updated Jint. Bug fixes and new features actually, but that we don't use in Orchard. mkdocs, Markdig updates, Trumbowyg updates, fix async enumerable issue in media API with the latest. Was it the latest patch? I believe there was a breaking change. No, was it from the latest patch? I think there was a breaking change at some point. Or is it 5?
It was from .NET 6 preview 4.
Oh, it's for the next.
They changed some things with behavior.
Yeah, because you are using that 6. Okay, good.
Yep.
Buffering with JSON.NET. Better error message for failed Github authentication requests from Jean-Philippe. Some copy paste from ASP.NET just to be able to set a custom flag until they fix the issue in ASP.NET. Workflow deserializeRequestData migration. So removing the documentation for the old methods like this. And when I see migration, I'm wondering what kind of migration. That's it. Oh, the old methods are using the new one. Okay. Fixing spelling for me. OpenID update preview when using CodeMirror editor. Okay, so detect changes. CM editor. What is CM editor? Must be something.
CodeMirror?
Yeah, but the variable itself, like, because before we were looking for Maybe there's a predefined variable with that. That makes sense. Yeah.
I think it was the text area above that get bound to the CodeMirror.
Ah, so it's actually checking for the change on the text area. Okay. Well, we'll trust Jasmine. It's easier, but it doesn't want to say what we fixed. Fix Trumbowyg text pasting, adding inline style. Okay. MKLX update, DistributedLock for multi-instance AutoSetup. The PR that took a month to merge with documentation about Redis. Interesting. Using DistributedLock for AutoSetup. If multiple virtual instances sharing the same database are launched, okay, you might need DistributedLock for atomic AutoSetup. Okay. Okay. Very special case, like you have multiple deployments of Orchard, but you share the same database or the same Redis instance. Or let me check what's new. DistributedLock extensions. Okay. Redis InstancePrefix command, npm dependencies, blob update, GetCompletionValue is obsolete. Yeah. So it used to be this way. Now it's just evaluate, because that's usually what people want to do. Evaluate this expression and give me the result. And then you decide what to do with that. Pass it to a C# object or value like integer or whatever. Before it was too close to the spec, confusing. Lucene, indexing.Respect part settings to not index part values. Lucene indexing, okay. Dot space, respect part settings to not index part value. Okay. Okay, part name, content type, definition name. Well, part name, not part type name. This is wrong. I get it, it's content type definition name, part type name, or is it that part name was right, but part type name was wrong? Unless this is a setting on the type itself. Probably. Oh, not the type part, okay. Okay, makes sense. Mail kit updates, Angular Sharp updates, Mac update, GeoPointField Startup. Okay, use the extension methods for the field. Trumbowyg CDN. The hash was wrong. Okay. Good. Questions?
I tossed this into chat. My client had reported the undo for Trumbowyg not working. Do these updates fix that? Does anyone know?
I'm sure nobody knows.
Okay.
Should find an issue, yeah, because
I'll test it out.
Okay. Then demos.
Sure, let me share my screen. So I've got a new website to show, actually.
Wow.
It's about Orchard, but it's not actually written in Orchard. I quite like the new website that we've been using with .NET, which is called the Source Browser website. And I got curious the other day about how it was built, so I built one for Orchard. And you can now browse the.
We don't see your screen.
Oh, you don't see my screen. Oh no. Let's try that again, shall we? How about this time?
We see your screen. It's small. Okay, thank you.
I'll make it a little bigger then.
It's good now for me.
Yeah. So as I was saying,
Did you see the issue
with the screen or with the?
No, I mean the actual issue in GitHub about this site for .NET is broken right now. So that's funny because yesterday there's a lot of chat in Microsoft about this site. That's funny. So go on.
All right. I did see that. I think actually that was because I had a little bit of I had to play around with this morning. I saw something on Twitter yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, this is open source. So let's have a look at it and see if it does anything useful." So for those who don't know, there's a source browser for .NET, which is particularly useful, especially when you're looking up weird text writer implementations, but currently broken, as you say. But this is the same site. It's open source and it just allows you to browse the Orchard source code. So you can go straight into all the methods. Go back to the start of it. There was some information that it had as well, which I thought was curious. So apparently we have 183 projects and 200,000 lines of code.
C# code, I assume.
So C# code only. Unfortunately, it doesn't do Razor at the moment. It does look like it does XML, so it might be possible to get some more Razor. So when you start looking at the themes, which is a little disappointing because it would have been really useful if it did both Liquid and Razor files. When you actually look at what you get in the themes, you're just getting, you don't get the Razor views or the Liquid views straight out of the box. And at the moment, the browser is based on the current solution, so it also includes the templates and the test projects and the like. But just thought this might be useful.
So this site source.net, I use it a lot, and so do lots of devs in Microsoft, because you have all the source code in GitHub, but the semantic links between the files and the types and the properties are not as good as this site, the options that GitHub provides. And it's also harder to find the classes because you search by file name and sometimes it doesn't match. Example, this morning I was looking for string.replace. Where in the runtime can you find string.replace? It's not in, it's a good luck. It's not in string.cs, so you have to browse for where the string.cs file is, and then you find another partial class, and then you can find the method. But with this site, just type replace, and you will find all the types that contain the method replace, and then you click on the one that you want. That's much easier. And it also does cross repos relationship, I think. And on the source.net, we have ASP.NET. ASP.NET and the runtime and everything. So NEF core, so that's super useful. And it's fast also because static files, and it's always up to date because it can be part of the build pipeline, so we don't have to wait for GitHub to reindex everything. I'm sure there might be options to exclude folders, files, or to include some of them, or to customize like if you say it's missing Liquid and Razor, maybe it could be added somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I was just having a look through it's open sourced here, but it's also because, of course, it is open source.
I'm sure
runs on its own source browser. Such a cool project. So easy to get running. Took me about half an hour this morning.
Kirill tries to build tools that help devs. Like he made this thing, and he also made the MS Build binlog viewer to debug your builds. Super useful. Okay.
Yeah, I've had to use that tool. It's awesome. I remember him building that. It's great.
So we should ask him what he's building next.
Exactly, because it's good stuff. So it actually has a source browser for itself. So at the moment, when you're looking at it, it's just so easy. It just makes. I mean, I spend a lot of time on source.net as well because it's just easy to find stuff so much faster than GitHub, and the fact that you can just click through and find where the XAML file is generated.
Another app or site you might show right now is grep.app.
Oh, yeah.
Which is doing cross GitHub searches. So it's indexing all the, this one. It's super fast and super nice. So, yeah, boom, and you find orchard. It's awesome, right?
Yeah, also really cool.
Cross repository.
I haven't used it as much, I must admit.
If you click a file, but you can do regular expression and custom patterns to find. Yeah, and it goes to GitHub, and then you are just relying on the semantic search from GitHub, which is not that great. It's kind of nice because you can see some usage and stuff, but it's not as fast.
It's getting better, but it seems to be a bit slow on its indexing, the GitHub.
And not everything is indexed. It's missing something. Yeah, because the source.net thing is built in C#. I assume it's using all the nice C# parsers to extract all the info we need.
Yeah, I mean, it's using the source generator. It's full framework, so I just spin up a VM to compile it. But the site is static, and the search is using ASP.NET, so you certainly need an ASP.NET host to be useful. But most of it's just written in static HTML and TypeScript. So super simple. Yeah, like I said, I was having a look through here, so to actually extend it to include other types of project files without, probably with I would say Liquid, without quite so much symbol.
Should we host that in the same thing at the docs, like source.orchardproject.net, orchardcore.net?
If we can host it on Azure, because we need the .NET at runtime on source.orchardcore.net, super simple. We can push this out as part of the build pipeline, and maybe just a slight rearrangement on the structure to exclude some of the stuff, or maybe not, to be honest.
So we'll see if Antoine is able to help with that. I don't think we need a custom. Yeah, I'm not sure we need a custom. Yeah, it should be the same process as what he's doing with mkdocs, because it's also generating a static site. So
cool. Is that running on the Azure service, or?
Maybe it's Antoine. How does the site generate? No, it's using the read the docs, right?
Yes.
It's using read the docs. So maybe we need a custom GitHub action to be able to do that and host it. Well, I'm sure we could host it on GitHub pages and use the same domain name. Probably.
We could host it anywhere statically. We could host it in blob storage, but without the ASP.NET, because it runs off an ASP.NET website. So without.
So you need an ASP.NET website. You can't use a static website.
The search and semantics aren't as good. How does he explain it?
Bertrand will fix that. I'm sure we can find some high-end side tooling to do.
Yeah, so the symbol index is server side. So without ASP.NET,
kept server side. We need to fix it. It's fixable because because we have the tools to build. So Bertrand made something called Lunar. Is it what's it called, Bertrand?
Lunar Core.
Lunar Core, because Lunar.
So it's spelled Lunarcore. It's a direct part of the JavaScript library,
which is an indexing engine.
No, without the
search. It's a search engine in JavaScript, so you can share the same index file built in .NET and read in JavaScript, for instance. This way, the build step.
Yeah. And you can search client-side or server-side with the same index file.
So and the client just reads the index file into at load time, and
yeah, you just send the index file to the client, and then you use the JavaScript Lunar library on the client side to query it.
The build step will be to generate the static file using a GitHub action. Then, as a second step, you build using .NET the index in the GitHub action, where you get a file, and this file is part of the static site, so that when you load the web static file, the web static site, the JS script will also load the static index, which is built by the server once on static generation.
Yep, sounds pretty reasonable to me.
So that shouldn't be that hard to switch. That might be a solution actually to use completely for source.NET instead of, and then it will not require.
So what are you using currently?
No, well, it's using server-side indexes. I don't know what it's using. We need to check. Maybe it's using Lucene or something like that. We need to check the source code. I have another idea. So the issue that might happen, I don't know how big would be the index because it will have to download the index. But even if it's 1 megabyte, that's kind of quick on our machines now.
It's cacheable.
The other option, have you seen this article where a dev made a custom reader, a custom SQLite files reader in JavaScript that was actually streaming the pages of the SQLite file as it was requesting it, because it's a bit tree. It's able to use a custom web server feature, which is called, I can't remember the name. So you can just say, give me this part of the file, and it will just download the part of the SQLite index that is required to do the search on the fly. It was amazing. So
that's pretty cool.
So I need to find the article again. And that's the only concern that we could have, like, how much will the index be with some source code? I'm sure it's not that big because even the Lucene index is super small. So for this kind of source code, it should not be big. We should try to build.
Yeah, I'm not sure if. Yeah, I'm not sure what the symbol index is, but the HTML it's spitting out is kind of all over the place. So I have to have a look. But,
so interestingly, I did exactly that on my old JavaScript CMS that I built a few years ago, and I used Lunar as the search engine, the JavaScript version, and I'm doing exactly that. I'm downloading the index file to the client and querying from the client, and yeah, it's a lot smaller, of course, but the size of the file didn't matter at all. It's all very fast. And yeah, so I would try it.
Interesting.
Makes sense to have a look. It can't be for Orchard. It can't be massive. I mean, I could see for ASP.NET because they're bringing in so many repos that it could be a bit bigger. But for Orchard, what was the
300,000 files should be quick. Shouldn't be slow. Small, sorry. Should be small.
Yeah.
Quick and small. Yeah.
200,000 lines of code.
200, yeah. And
symbols are
mostly spacings. Yeah, you see 20,000 symbols. So like, I mean, probably the indexing will reuse the same token like so many times that the file will be 100K max, and that should be so, because yeah. Okay, that's great. We should look into that. And that will be easier than just have a major website around hitting the planet just to do some searching. Good. Thank you very much. So that's it. That's your demo. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Just for ideas for the make life a little bit easier.
Okay, I will share back. Dean, what's the name of this thing? This site? the .NET solution.
Source browser.
Browser. Topics 1.0. Let's see what's still assigned on 1.0. Not much because it's super stable. That's also why. So that we need to check, but actually it's because of the templates. Issues, milestone 1.0. I think we added a few, like a couple of them on Thursday. Invalid column name user ID after applying, so that's a migration issue. There is a PR for that. Okay, good. So this one will go away soon. Cannot run MariaDB due to migration error. That might be related. It might be related. Good job. So 2 issues fixed with the same PR. This one. Could it be related?
It's the same issue fixed by the same PR.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I remember now in the PR you pointed 3 different issues. Okay, that must be them. This one we need to copy the fonts from Google because we want to be able to host a site locally without internet. Don't think a PR has been started. And this one also needs to be an easy one. There was a PR started, but not with the correct solution. And that's about it. Is there any update on the branding? Zoltan said he would share some files. There's a PR. What is AI source files?
Illustrator.
Adobe Illustrator.
Ah, thank you. Adobe Illustrator. Okay. PDF SVG. So we have the files here. Licensing. For the font, okay. Looks good. So if I click on this file, oh, it doesn't work. We can't see the file directly from here. Sad. Font should call logo dark. And the documentation doesn't reference them directly. Okay, well, we'll trust the file. Good. So we are still waiting for something. I'm waiting for the logo marks. What is a logo mark? So what PR is dependent on what thing? Are they completely independent? Or you just copied the files directly in the theme, so that should be fine. But is it the same file? Or is the icon file provided also here?
No, I made favicon from
So you created one.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it would be interesting to also have the files provided as assets in the same folder if people want to download them instead of going into the themes to find them. But that can be done later. Okay. Good. And we have a screenshot here.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that even Dean used them for the static side, or the source side. Nice. Awesome. Good. So that's it for 1.0. So already really close. We keep adding one issue per week, but I don't expect. I'm assuming as soon as we have all the backlog, the list of 1.0 tag issues cleared, we can ship 1.0.
And I changed it in the settings of the GitHub repository,
such that if I see. So that means if someone links an issue, how did you render this file? It looks blurry on my side. So is it GitHub or is it the file you uploaded?
I had to do it again with the good dimensions.
I wonder. So if I tweet about an issue with that, it should show up this image.
When you make a search of on GitHub.
The search in GitHub, you say?
Yes.
Sure.
The top one, top search.
Nope.
I mean, if there is a topic like CMS or core CMS.
This one works. Yeah, it's blurry. Maybe it should be smaller and not blurry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. And here is a logo. A small one. You see, we can have small logos actually. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. It can be changed as many times as we want. Topics, anything else? No harvest, obviously, still. Questions, comments?
I was curious if we made any more progress on the audit trail.
Oh, we have the expert here. Dean, what's the update on the audit trail?
Yeah, it's just coming along. I haven't got anything particularly I want to show about it, but there's a few other bits and pieces to finish off.
Missing?
Maybe next week.
And you're working on that. You see user UI comments and tabs. So Dean is working on that. That's good. So what's left? Do you know?
There's still a little bit of refactoring left, but nothing major. Just needs a little time to go through some feedback from last week or the week before.
Yeah, we mentioned some defaults that needs to be disabled, some things like that. Okay.
Yeah, so I think I've got it all mostly disabled. I'd have to look back through the list, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, just needs a bit of time.
All good. Okay. So
Do you want to talk about the Windows update?
What have you broken, Antoine? So Antoine reported an issue last week on his sites on Azure, right? Your sites are on Azure?
No, locally.
Even locally, okay. That some static assets return an error, HTTP2 error code. Something went wrong and the asset could not be downloaded. And this issue has been reported also by many other users. This one. Okay, so this one has been reported a week ago also. Multiple I CC'd Antoine because this is apparently an issue. So if you see an issue, write a message. Error. This one, HTTP, yeah, something like that, related to HTTP2 and error code, and yeah, I'm sure you will share an image somewhere in chat. If you see that, it's probably because of this with the Windows update from last week. It was a security update. And if you disable it, it's back again. It's not related to gRPC because we're not using gRPC, but it's related to HTTP2, which gRPC uses. So that's why some people using gRPC so that, and Chrome is using also HTTP2 if the server supports it, which Kestrel does, and which by default, I assume, is using HTTP2 when you use Chromium. So you can get some error. So if you see that, it's because this update was installed. And because it's a Windows update, it might happen anytime, at any moment, on any site, because it will be pushed on the server automatically. And so be aware of that. If it's happening on Azure, then I don't think you have any option to fix that, but file an issue with the Azure support. So they revert the knowledge base. I don't know if there is any mention here on Azure in this case so far. Also, you can try, Antoine, if it works, if it still repros without IIS, if it's an issue just with IIS. And if Kestrel directly doesn't show that, it will be interesting too. People are aware of the issue and are working on it. I can't say more about what it will be done and when it will be done. I have no idea. So
okay, thanks.
That's not .NET specific. That's Windows specific. Question? All good then. All good. No questions? No comments? Awesome. Okay, so let's meet again on Thursday for the triage, and next week, yes, next week, no issues, I don't think so. Next week on Tuesday for the next meeting. Thanks everyone. See you next week.
Cheers, bye.
Bye guys.